What's up, guys? It's Jim with AwakenedTCG, bringing you guys today our weekly locals video. Going to be starting back up here for OP05. And as with our community poll that we do every week, out of the 4 options this week, Purple Luffy ended up winning. Now, I know this is a very good deck, and most people know it by now. But it is probably going to be my main deck for the set, and if you did not look at the title, we actually ended up winning this week, going 4-0 and taking the winner card with this leader. Now, before we get into the deck list, I'm going to say right now, this isn't the most innovative Luffy deck list. If you've seen your typical Luffy list, this is going to be basically the same, with the different ratios, and then I think I have about 1 or 2 cards that are a bit spicy. So if you want to check that out, go ahead and stay tuned. And if you just want to get right into the games, we will have those timestamps for those too, as I will be covering all 4 games with full commentary. But anyways, let's get right into the deck list. First up, one of the most important cards by far is going to be 4 of Magellan. We've got the 2 of each alt art here. This card is insane. It basically solo wins any yellow matchup by itself, as the only way they ever want to remove it is going to be with a Thunderbolt trigger, as it only works on opponent's turn with its KO effect. But basically taking decks off curve, even Sakazuki, this card is very good. If they don't have bottom decks, this guy just sticks on board, and he is a very annoying 6k body. Not much else to say there. Next up here, another very important 5-drop. We're going to have 4 of Polly. So Polly is a really good card and a really efficient removal against Sakazuki in particular, as the majority of their deck is made up of 4 drops. So this guy is basically hitting everything for the perfect number and also on the perfect curve. For instance, you usually want to go first against most matchups. Against Sakazuki, you probably want to go second. But against most matchups, you want to go first. You ramp on your 3-down turn to 4, play a 4-drop. Next turn, you're on 6, and you ramp from 6 to 7 and play this guy, ramping you to 8, which means you'll be on 10 the next turn when you should have been at 7. So yeah, while removing something and developing a 6k, yeah, it cannot be understated how good Polly is in so many matchups. He can take out blockers. He can just ramp you if you need to get to more Dawn next turn. Just an amazing card for this deck, and definitely a needed 4 of staple, I think. Can be a bit bricky, but I think that is the price you pay. Next up, we've got 3 of the 7-drop Useless Captain Kid. Honestly, I'm believing in this card less and less. It's really good. Do not get me wrong. It's really good. Having your leader be 6k for basically the rest of the game, as long as it doesn't get removed, is insane value. But I don't know, I just feel like in all of the best matchups, this guy's not the best. In Sakazuki, they can remove it pretty easily. Ice Age plus a Houndblaze. In any yellow matchup, Katakuri, this is the perfect Katakuri target for them. But honestly, as far as our big bodies go, we do need a lot of good big bodies. And you'd be surprised how much good big bodies Purple doesn't have. It's really only like 9-drop Kaido, and that's kind of it. And 10-drop Luffy, but I really don't think that works very well in this deck. But yeah, this guy is fantastic in certain matchups and can definitely just swing games in your favor. Now we're getting into the 1 of Spice here. It's going to be the 1 of Douglas Bullet. So, story behind this guy. I just felt like I did not have enough of the upper end because I wasn't as confident in Kid. And I did not think just the 9-drop Kaidos were enough. Needed a way to deal with the Borsellino blockers and stuff like that and put pressure. This guy can definitely do that. Although, to be honest, he does not do the most. If you play him and don't use his effect, he can totally get removed by, again, an 8-drop Katakuri or Sakazuki in these very common matchups. But if he does stick and get to sit for a turn, even if they have 2 blockers, you're instantly basically getting a free double attack. Insane card that can get you some crazy value in the right conditions. And then last but not least, for our big bodies, we have a 4 of 9-drop Kaido. We've all seen this card by now. It's probably the best big cost in Purple. The Don -5 is kind of a big ask, but if you have a kid blocker on board or something like that, it's really not that big a deal, as you will only be going to 8 the next turn. So yeah, still a great card and the best removal plus rush, which can give you extra removal, or go for game. Yeah, this guy is just your best top end by far. Now getting into the blockers, we have 5-drop Kid. 5-drop Kid, obviously, whenever you do any of these Don- effects, whether it's Kid, Magellan, Bullet, Kaido, this guy's going to give you 1 extra Don back from the Don deck. If you are at 10 Don and you use like a Don- effect from this, he can basically allow you to play with 11 Don per turn, which is kind of insane, while being a 6k blocker that also has counter at the same time. Yeah, this is just a no-brainer for and basically every purple deck from this day forward. Not going to lie. Next up, though, another great 5/6 blocker is going to be Queen. Another obvious card by now. Yeah, draw 2, trash 1 for a Don -1. Yeah, I think this is a pretty clear 4 of staple in every purple deck from, honestly, set 1. So, next up here, our last blockers in the deck, we have 3 of the 4-cost Law. Honestly, if I were to switch this deck now, I'd give 1 more Law and 1 less Bullet. I just sometimes feel like I either don't have enough counter or I don't have enough blockers sometimes. And also there's just a ton of times where I'm like, oh wow, if I had Law right now, I can completely ruin their hand. This guy's great. Going first and ramping to 4, I do not like using his effect on curve, even if I can take their hand, because a lot of times it just kind of screws you. Because then you go to 5 the next turn, and obviously you can play one of these 5-drops, but ramping is not going to get you to anything meaningful. We don't play any big 6-drops. They're going to do really anything. So he's mainly good for the late game when you're trying to clear out hand and then go for board maybe the next turn. But anyways, let's get into the important 4-drops in the deck. We have 4 Scratch Mana Poo and 4 Page 1. If you do not play Purple Luffy or you do not know how it works, 4-drop vanillas are really good because you can go second and on your you can go first, and on your 3 Don turn, you can ramp to 4 Don from 3 and just play a 4/6 vanilla. Getting out a 6k vanilla when you should have maximum been able to play a 5k is really good. And a lot of decks just can't respond to it, and it just snowballs in your favor from there. Next up, let's get into our 2Ks. First 2K, we have 3 of Miss Doublefinger. So this card is great. I've seen a lot of people running the Khalifa card that does Queen effect on attack. I think this one's just more consistent. You'll play Khalifa and they'll remove her. She's only a 4K, so you don't really care about the body that much either. But she can definitely be good, but this one I think is just way more consistent. Mainly for the fact that if I don't have one of these 2 on my 4 Don turn when I ramp to 4, you can just play her instead, go to 5, and then next turn you will be on 7 for free to play Polly, Kid, etc. So yeah, just a 2K that also can fill in for your 4 Don slot when you need it. Next up, more 2Ks. We got 4 of X-Drake. Just a solid body that can be played. Obviously, we're playing these mainly just to be 2Ks, but the good part is when you do need a card to play, it gives you a decent body in a 5K, as well as getting 1 card out of their hand, which is never, ever bad. And last but not least, probably should have showed this with the Page 1, but obviously, if we're running 4 Page 1, we run the ulti. Another great play on 4 Don if we need to swarm board to swing back into a Zoro or something along those lines. We have ulti and Page 1 in the same turn, which is absolutely fantastic. And last up, let's get into the event cards. First up, we have 1 Blast Breath, 1 singular Blast Breath. So this deck is actually really good at leaving 1 Don up a lot of times. And I do like this card, but it can also be really, really bricky. I'd honestly rather see my big guys than this. A lot of times, I used to run 2, and I just felt like sometimes I'd have too much, and it just wasn't worth it. Because you are trying to play on curve, and leaving 1 Don up is obviously not going to allow you to do that. You'll have to play 1 off curve. So it is clutch in many situations when they don't expect you to have it. However, not the best at all. Next up, let's go over Gum Gum Jet Gatling as a 3 of. So with the a massive amount of bricks we have, as you can see. We have a ton. This just comes in handy. Because a lot of times, you know, you'll have a hand with like a Magellan, 2 Polys, and a Kid, and like 1K page 1. This is like a very common hand you'll have. And that's just no counter. And in a leader that is taking your life, basically the first 2 turns every game, and kind of has to play a little bit dangerously and play these bigger bodies out, you need counter in hand. And unfortunately, sometimes the cost of running these big guys is you don't have it. So this card converts basically these non-counter cards into a 1K/2K, as this, you can count this as 2K and one of those as a 1K. So just great there, great for really bricked up hands. And also the trigger, adding 1 active Dawn is never ever bad, especially if you have a blast breath that you wanted to use in hand. And last but not least, we have 2 Top Knot. This is a complete tech card for Sakazuki. A lot of other lists run Sheep's Horn, which is the same price for Dawn -1, and it rests a 6 cost. But that is good into the purple Luffy mirror, I'm not going to lie. But the main deck I struggle with is just Sakazuki at the end of the day, and that's what I do mainly see. So this card in particular is going to take out Rebecca's, Borsellino's, Kuzan's, etc. for 2 Dawn, and it'll usually allow you to go for game is when I'm going to be playing this card. Also, if you didn't end up going for game, that card is not going to the trash, it's going to the bottom of the deck, so they cannot just fish it back up, right? If you KO'd a Rebecca, they can't grab it with a Mancherry, something like that. No, that thing's gone out of the game forever. They're usually never getting to the bottom of their deck. Anyways, though, guys, that is going to be the complete deck list, and the deck list I won my locals with. But anyways, let's get right into the gameplay. And hopping right into game 1 here, we are going to be playing against Red Portgas de Ace. A very interesting matchup, especially in OPO5. I do not think you're going to be seeing this leader too much. I do think it could be totally interesting, especially now that the Marcos are all back online, as well as the 10-drop Newgate, and as well as new additions to the red pool, like the new Fire Fist, which I think is going to be fantastic in this leader. But a little thing, this player actually did not have any OPO5 cards yet, so we're playing against an OPO4 deck, unfortunately. But I'm going to be going on second. I think I lost dice roll. And he's going to be going first. He's going to go ahead and swing 5 after we pass on both of our first turns. And I'm just going to counter out with Kid. One thing with Luffy is you always want to preserve life at the start so you can use your leader effect. But he's actually going to play Garp. I'm going to go ahead and swing 5 on my turn. He will take, and I'm just going to play the Magellan, bringing him down to 4 on his next turn. Magellans on curve are always insane, especially against like this deck that wants to KO cards. They never ever want to KO Magellan unless it's with a trigger. But he's going to go ahead and play Buggy, search top 5, and unfortunately whiff. Very surprising, as I'm sure he has a ton of events. But he'll go ahead and swing 6, and we will go ahead and give him a 2K, and he'll play Zoro swing 5. Don't think I had any great counter to give him there, so we're going to go ahead and actually take that one. Now going to go 6K at the Zoro, just kind of poking and checking hand here. Then we're going to go ahead and take life, going up to 7. And we're going to play the Poly. Go ahead and KO that Garp before it can play out any other 1-drops for free. And we'll attach 1 Dawn to leader, going 6 at the Zoro, and looks like he did not have another 2K to give us. Passing back to him, now on 6 Dawn. Thankfully, Magellan took him off of the card that gives him double attack on 7, as that would actually be a big problem here. But he'll go 5, we'll just give him a 1K, and he will boost his Buggy to 6, and we'll have to unfortunately give him a Gum Gum Rain, and he'll swing another 6 with a Rush Luffy, and we will take that one. Going very aggro on Ace, and making me kind of punished for taking 2 life early. But we're going to go ahead and go 6 at Luffy here, and another 6. Instantly taking that to his hand, kind of making me read that he has no counter at all. But we'll go ahead and play Kid into Queen. And that 1 Dawn that we put back with Queen is going to be set as active. Effectively playing with 11 Dawn this turn. We're going to head and just go 5 at Buggy though, knowing that attaching it won't do much. And if we do get a Blast Breath, it could help us out if he had a Rusher. Although we do not have it in hand currently. But although he does have 4 life and I have 1, the board states are looking great here. But he does play down probably the best card he could have on ace. And I think he's actually going to give minus 3k to both of our blockers. And he'll just go 6 at lead, we'll give him a 2k, and then 7, and we'll just give him that queen. Not wanting to give him the kid, as we do want to get more value out of that if possible. But now thinking what to do here. We have a 7 kid or we have a 9 Kaido. I'm just going to go 7 at the ace and see what he does. And he's going to go ahead and give it to me. Now swinging 6 with Magellan. He's going to insta-take that, reading that he does not have a ton of counter in hand, most likely. We'll go 5 at lead and we'll give us the Otama that he just got. Now thinking of playing the kid or the Kaido. I'm thinking if I was going to play the kid, I should have played it earlier. So I'm actually going to go ahead and just play Kaido. Removing it off the board, putting 5 back, and then getting 1 back from Kid. Now active, and we're just going to go ahead and swing 10 with Kaido to leader. Was thinking about swinging with Kid, but it would be a little scary if he did have another Rush Zoro or a Rush Luffy or something along those lines. Now on 10 Dawn, he's actually going to play the 10 cost starter deck Luffy. Swing 11 at lead, we'll take that. And 5k, I kind of have a brain fart here and block with Kid. And he's going to go ahead and KO my Poly. But thinking about it now, it actually didn't really make a difference. But I should have just countered out a hand, as we are going to have to go for game here. Putting 1 on Magellan and 1 on Kid to avoid any 6k pops from triggers. We'll go 7, 7, he'll take both, and we'll go rest on Kaido. And that will be the game. So, very decent game there, despite our opponent unfortunately not having any OPO5 cards for this ace deck. Just showing you that I do think this is going to be a kind of decent deck this format. I would not be surprised. And honestly, I think any matchup that goes really quick into Luffy, like Zoro or something, is actually really difficult, because it does not allow you to use leader effect, or you are putting yourself in a very quick threat of dying. And getting right into our next match here. We have Yellow Enel. So this is a matchup that I know I'm going to be seeing a ton, but I know Luffy does usually win this matchup. I don't think it's unwinnable for Enel, but if you do see the Magellans, I know it is rough for the deck. But this is not going to be an easy ride. We are playing against a great player that does have that Regionals finalist Matt from one of the in-person Regionals. He is a great player that I know did a lot of good things last set. So do not expect this match to be easy by any means. But anyways, I think we won dice roll, and we will be going second, as we do want to be playing that Magellan on curve. But going first, he is going to be playing Pudding with the Big Mom archetype and searching out the Cracker. And now on 2 Dawn, I have no plays, and I'm just going to pass. Now thinking what to do here, he's going to go 2 on leader, swing 7, and play another Pudding out. So really good start here. I'm more familiar with the Skypiea archetype, but I would assume this is probably one of the best starts you have in this Big Mom version. Swinging 5, he's going to take with no trigger, and we will use effect, ramp 1, getting that beautiful Magellan on curve. Great in this matchup, as they never even want to touch it after you play it, which gives you free 6s every single turn. The only thing that will screw you over is a Thunderbolt trigger, because it does not activate that down -2. But he'll go 5. We'll give him an easy 1k. And now with 4 Dawn, thinking what to put down, he knows I'm probably going to try to play Poly next turn, so he does not want to give me max value there, and does not play that Cracker that he actually searched out. Going to go ahead and play Perospero instead. We'll go 6k, and he will get a Perospero trigger, now making his board a lot more threatening, but we do not care. We're going down to 2. Going to play Poly, remove one of those Perosperos, and get 1 Dawn active. He's going to go ahead and grab the Smoothie off of the Pero Search. We'll go 6, looking for a trigger here, and he gets another Smoothie thrown on board, trashing the Thunderbolt. Now, with a very devastating board, even though he only had 1 card on board and we removed 1, going to make this a lot harder than it needs to be. Going to go 5 at leader. We'll give him a 1k. Another 5. We'll give him another 1k. And 7. Fortunately, did counter out of the first 2, because we probably would have had to counter out of this one if we took either of those. And he'll just go ahead and play Sanji after we end up taking that 7k swing, going down to 1 life. Now on me, after Poly ramped us up, we were on 10 Dawn here. I'm going to go 5 at Smoothie, 6 with Polly, kind of reading here that I'm most likely going to play something big, and indeed we do. We play the Kaido, pop the blocker, and now going to swing 7 at Smoothie, and follow it up with 10 at Perospero, and he actually gets no Big Mom Pirates off of those top 3, so that is pretty big for us. Completely cleared the board, but we are still on 1 life. He is at 1 life as well, but do not let that fool you. That is still infinite life for Enel. Going to swing 5 with 8 Dawn. Just kind of reading here that it's probably going to be a Katakuri, which it is. Going to put the pudding on the top and pass back to me. Now, after putting 5 back with Kaido, we go back to 7 this turn. So we do have the Polly in hand if we wanted to play that, which would be a decent play. I mean, getting 1 extra Dawn and removing a pudding is not the best, but honestly, looking at the hand right now, it's either that or the blocker. Definitely thinking about this one as I do not want to die next turn. So we're just going to go 5, test the waters. He'll give us that 1k Smoothie now with 3 or 4 cards in hand, and he'll take our 6k swing with Polly. Now thinking here, if I want to swing or not, as if I do swing, I do risk triggers, and getting him down to 1 life could not do a lot if he just has a Yamato and goes back to 1. We're just going to go ahead and play Polly, KO that pudding, and pass, making the least amount of things rested as possible. He'll go 3 on Kata and swing 11 at my leader. Thinking to counter out here, because I know if I take this, he's probably just going to go for game. We go ahead and take it because we know we have the counter. And we'll give him a 2k, 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 up to 11, up to 12, and up to 13 with 2 1ks. He went for it all, and with not a lot of cards in hand, he's going to need big triggers here, whether it's early Thunderbolts or Bages or Blocker Sanjis. I think that's all that can save him here. We'll go 7, and he'll have to take, getting that Blocker Sanji that he needed. But don't think it is really going to matter. We're going to go 7 again. Testing the hand here. Even if he gives us 2 2Ks, I don't think he wins this. Going to get that Thunderbolt trigger on my Magellan. Very unfortunate. But he is down to 0 life now, so we are just going to play the bullet because we can rest the Sanji. And with 3 cards in hand, there was no way to win that. But yeah, that is going to be the match. A very, very good match. A very close match. Even if you do get the Magellan on curve, if Enel gets a lot of triggers, it can be very difficult for you. There's no doubt. And getting into game 3 here, we're having the roundabout of decks, every color. This match, we've got the Sakazuki, as if we weren't going to see it. Come on now, it's the best deck in the format. Fortunately, though, we did get second, which means we can play the Magellan on curve and take him off his at the same time. So that is very good for us, and we do have that Magellan in hand. We're going to snap keep that one. But yeah, this matchup for Luffy, I do think is actually really rough. If they see the removal, I think Sakazuki could just beat any deck in the game if they see the right cards. But he's going to be going first here, just to trash that Hina with leader effect and draw 1. On 2, we have nothing to play. And we're going to just go ahead and pass back to him. Now he's going to just trash that Sabo with leader effect, the drawing 1. Probably just looking for a brand new or something decent to play this turn. But he's going to actually just go all on leader, showing me that he does not have a brand new in hand. And we're going to have to take that. We did have 2 2Ks, but I don't think it was worth doing that early. We'll go ahead and use leader effect, going to 5 and playing the Magellan on curve, making him put back 1 and be on 4 this turn. So if he does end up playing a 4-drop, I think we do have a Poly in hand, and we can end up removing it, which would be really big here. We do want him to play Kuzan, so he's going to go 5 at lead, -1 to Magellan, and just play that Borsalino. So Borsalino here going to make it a little more difficult to swing, and one of the only 5 drops that we actually can't, or sorry, 4 drops that we cannot remove with Poly. So we'll go 6, and he'll just go ahead and take that, and followed by 7, he'll block and 2K, and we'll play a page 1 for 4. Not using leader effect this turn, as there were really no great cards to make use of it. Now on him, he's going to trash another Hina, cycle another card from his deck. and debating what to do here. If he has a good string of cards, there is a world where he can remove both Magellan and Page 1. Gonna start off strong, go Rebecca, and most likely take that Hina out of trash. He's actually gonna guard the Borsalino, which usually means, yeah, they already have a Hina in hand, and he's gonna go -4 to Magellan, followed by a Houndblaze to bottom deck and swing 8 to lead. We'll unfortunately have to take that, but we do get a trigger, getting 1 Dawn active from the deck and putting us to 9 this turn, which makes it doable to play 9-cost Kaido, which is very good for us. So we'll go 5 at Hina. And he's going to debate what to do here, but if I am at 9 Dawn, he knows that 9-cost Kaido is probably just going to remove Rebecca anyway, so he's going to use it before that can happen. We'll go 6 at Hina, and he gives us no targets for 9 Kaido, so we're going to play Douglas Bullet, saying if you do not remove this turn, I am literally going to kill you next turn. Maybe not kill you, but get you down to 1 really quickly. Going to trash the 3-drop Hina here. Trashing a lot of Hinas this game. Gonna go for 2 for the brand new. Search for something to remove the Douglas Bullet here. He has the option of Borsalino or Houndblaze. Now at 6 Dawn, he cannot play the Borsalino this turn, so he's gonna go ahead and get the Houndblaze after thinking it over for a while. Probably no good spot to play Borsalino, as he would probably be putting himself wide open. Gonna play another Rebecca. -4 to Hina, which tells me Douglas Bullet is surviving this turn, thank God, and he's going to go ahead for another Houndblaze, put it on leader, and swing 5, as he knows I could just rest it. We'll give him a 1k for there, and he'll go 8, and we'll give him that double 2k. Conserving our life as much as possible. We're going to go ahead and play 9-cost Kaido, remove the Rebecca, and I could use Douglas Bullet's effect this turn, but I'd be at no Dawn, and there's just really no reason to. So we'll go 6 at Hina, we'll go 10 at Borsa, and another 10 at leader, no double attack, because we did not activate Douglas's effect. And at this point in time, I have a decent amount of Dawn next turn. I have a devastating board, one that can go for double attack, and then one that could just follow up with a massive swing. Even if he has 2 blockers, he does lose here. So it's pretty much remove or bust, yeah. And he's going to go with the Hina Borsalino, putting the Douglas at the bottom, which is really good for him. No blockers still, so we can put him down to 0 this turn if we want to, as he does not have a ton of cards in hand. We're just going to elect to go for Polly, removing his 1 of 2 good attackers, and we'll go 6. He'll give us a 2k, he'll go 10 and take. Now in a position where I actually don't have a ton of cards in hand. I only have 3 cards in hand, I think. Yeah, 3 cards in hand and 2 life. A position where it is very possible for him to go for game. Gonna ask to look at my trash here. Seeing a decent amount of 2Ks and that Gum Gatling. So thinking the possibility I have good counter in hand is probably pretty low. So gonna just go 8 and test the waters. We're gonna give that to him, as we would have had to basically, like, literally give our whole hand for that, which would not have been worth it because he would have just removed board after the fact. Still has invested no Dawn at all, but thinking about how to allocate it to go for game, we have 4 cards in hand, and we did take that 8k swing. So he's going to go 4 on leader, go 9. Now thinking about this, knowing that if he puts the rest on brand new, I did get an ulti off life, so I do have the counter for it. We'll take it, baiting that we have no counter in hand. He's going to get rid of the Ice Age, seeing if he could get probably a plus 3k from Houndblaze or something like that, but he's going to go for it anyway. Swinging for 10, and we will go up to 11. 9 or 10, I'm not sure, but we had the counter in hand, is the point. 2 games in a row where our opponent ended up going for game when they honestly did not have to, which is pretty big for us. But let's get into the next match anyway. Now getting into our finals match here, and who else would it be other than Wraith Talks himself, my co-partner on the AwakenedTCG channel. We both are now undefeated 3-0 in finals together. This seems to happen a lot, which is very interesting. But definitely a good matchup for me here, but unfortunately I did lose the dice roll if you saw there, and he did put me on first, which means I cannot play Magellan on curve, which is not good. Heads up, this is a very, very weird game. I'm not even going to lie, with very interesting play from both of us, but we're going to go and jump right into it. On 1, we are going to just go ahead and pass to him with no plays. He'll do the same. Drawing 1 now on 3, and thinking about using leader effect, the only actual target I have in hand is the 2k Miss Double Finger, which really doesn't feel good, so I'm actually going to elect to not use leader effect and just go 8 to lead. I do have the Magellan in hand, so I don't even need to ramp to play it next turn. But yeah, he's going to get the Sanji trigger off first life. Enel always seems to get triggers off first life against me. It just happens. It's a thing. He'll go 7 with Sanji, which tells me he's going 7 with leader. So we'll go ahead and take 1 and counter out of the other. Really trying to put me in a position where I can't use leader effect. And drawing into another Magellan there, we're actually going to just not use it, because we have the cards we need, and we do not get to a lot. We do not need to get to a lot of Dawn if we just keep Magellaning. We'll put him on a hand where he has a bunch of big bodies that he actually just can't play, is my plan in this game. So going 5 at Sanji, he knows I'm basically going to play Magellan here, so he'll give us a 1k from Sanji, and we'll play that Magellan. Making sure he is still on 5 Dawn this turn. Just delaying those big bodies as much as we possibly can. If you can see in his hand, I think he has a Yamato and a Katakuri right now. But thinking what to do, he probably wants to go aggro. Oh, and as you can see there, the winner pack was put on the table just to raise the stakes a little bit. So he's going to go ahead and go 5 with Sanji at lead. We'll give him a 1k with Queen. And he'll go 2 on leader, swing 7. We'll give him that one. And then he'll play a Holy, just trying to get the maximum amount of swings this turn. We'll go 5 at Sanji, just trying to clear this board. And then we'll go 7 at Sanji. He'll give us that. And we'll follow it up with another Magellan. Obviously the best card you can see in this matchup. Put me in a situation where I couldn't use leader effect, so it didn't make it as strong, but it is still good nonetheless. There is no doubt about that, as he cannot swing into these guys. He basically has to go for leader, and that is why I'm not using leader effect this game at all. He'll go 7. We'll give him a Jet Gatling for the perfect amount of counter, and he'll go 9, telling me that he probably has a ton of big bodies in hand, which just makes it all the more easier to play another Magellan this turn. So we're going to go 5 at Holy. He'll take that, wanting me to finally attack his life and give him some good triggers here. None on the first one after 7 swing. We'll go another 7. And he will actually elect to counter this one out for 3. And the beautiful SP Magellan is now being played, taking him down in Dawn once again. Very disgusting board. Not gonna lie, I've literally played 3 cards this game. He'll go 5, we'll counter, and he'll go 7 Enel and swing. That was a very quick turn. We took the 7. Now going down to 1, putting us in a kind of scary spot here. So we do need to remove this Enel. So I'm going to go 1, go 7. He'll give us a quick 1k. I'll go another 7. He'll give us a quick 2k. And I'll go another 7. And now thinking about this one here, he's actually going to go ahead and use Enel effect and save it. So we're just going to go ahead and get rid of it for sure. We could have played a blocker, but that would mean we couldn't swing an Enel. So my only play there was just to get rid of it. So at this point, if he wants to play a big body, he cannot swing at me for any more than 5, which I knew he would. So he'll swing 5, we'll give him a 2, and he'll go Yamato up to 2 life. Now 3 really annoying triggers I would have to deal with if I was going for game this turn. So probably not going to try, just going to do a minimal risk. Go 6, go another 6, search for triggers. He gets Ashura. Searching top 5 and finding another 2k. So obviously knowing he has the counter in hand this turn, there's really no reason to go for it. As I do have 10 Dawn max here, but if that card in life right now is a Beige, I lose. I've lost to way too many Beiges in my career. I lost to one at Nationals when that was his only out. Yeah, I have actually a vendetta against Beige. So what I'm going to do around right here is I'm going to play around Beige. I could go like 3 on leader, or sorry, 3 on Magellan, rest on leader, but I'm just going to go 1, and he's going to counter out of that. Obviously just telling me, okay, I cannot win this turn, obviously. So we're just going to bunker up. I do have the Queen and the Kid in hand, with actually not a ton of counters, so Queen is probably the play here, as it can unbrick my hand. So we'll just go 3, 2 on leader, swing 7. he will have to take that, putting him down to 0, which means if he does not have a heal this next turn and does not kill me, we win this game. So we'll play that queen that I was talking about. Showing there, he did have the beige in his final life. So thank God we did not go for game, is what I'm saying. That is just how it is. You have to play like they have it. That is the way to win these matchups. Now on 10 Dawn for him, and I have 2 Dawn up, which does probably make him think I have a Blast Breath or something like that. And does not, looks like he has an Amaru and a Yamato in hand. So if he did want to play that Yamato this turn, he probably just loses next turn. I just have too many swings on board. So he's going to look through my trash and think if he needs to go for game this turn. Gonna swing 9, test the waters. And another situation where I'm thinking, okay, he can't get rid of my queen because he can't Thunderbolt, and he cannot get rid of it with Amaru or anything like that. So we're probably fine even if I take this hit. So we end up taking it. Kind of bait him to go for game. Even if he had like a Rush Enel or like double Amaru, I don't think there's a way to get out of this, as he cannot remove my blocker. If he wants to swing max, he can, but then he just doesn't heal and I win at the next turn. So he'll go 9, and he'll have to put the rest on Shura if he wants to win this. So we will go ahead and probably counter out of this one, as the Shura swing would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The Shura swing would be 8. But yeah, we'll counter out of this one. Yeah, and he had the Amaru to buff up Shura for a 9-9 swing. So if we could beat 9, it was game. And he knew that. Show me he had the beige in life. Because of course he did, but playing around stuff like that is what's going to allow you to win these games, guys. Playing against yellow, yellow's going to get more and more monotonous each set for sure. All right, and that is going to be the end of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. These locals videos do take me a while to make. I basically have to talk for an hour straight, which is very straining on my voice, and then edit couple hours on a video. Isn't too bad, but I would truly appreciate it if you guys do like and subscribe. We are uploading daily videos on this channel if you are new. We do these local videos every single week, and you guys get to vote on them in our community once a week. I think right now we have Bello Betty winning, which I will actually be playing next week, which I think is a very strong deck. But we are talking about Luffy. Yeah, Luffy, guys, obviously a strong deck. It's going to win tournaments. It's going to do great. The Sakazuki matchup is a bit rough, but if you can see your perfect curve and you can get a few yellow matchups with Magellan and stuff like that, yeah, this is a totally strong deck list, guys. And if you like Luffy as a character, I think this is the best he's ever been. So as a Luffy lover myself, I had to pick this deck up, and a purple lover as well. But anyways, guys, thank you so much. Please, please, please have a great day, and like and subscribe. You have a great rest of your day. Peace.